Best Irish music on irishradio.org with Jerry Byrne.
Irish Radio, I'm Jerry Byrne, and I've spoken to so many talented people, and boy, have we got a huge amount of talented people in Ireland. Now, my next guest, not a singer, not a musician, but a gentleman who is really is putting his own stamp on his own unique art form. He's from Burtonport in County Donegal, affectionately known as the Card Poet. I'm delighted to say hello to Dylan Murray. Dylan, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jerry. How are you doing?
Not bad at all. Listen, tell me this. How did you become involved in magic?
To be honest, Jerry, I suppose it's something I've always been involved in, even from an early age. I suppose I grew up, during the Paul Daniels era, and watching all his shows, and it was something that I always had a great interest in. But really, it wasn't until around 2011 that I got heavily involved in participating in the arts and kind of learning my craft. I viewed a magician across the waters there in England called Dynamo. And when I saw his television show, I seen incredible, we'll call it feats he was performing. And from that moment, I don't know, just it struck a chord with me. Our stories and backgrounds were very similar. And I said to myself, it'd be a great way to spend my life doing something I love, and seeing somebody like himself, reach the peak of his powers, it was great encouragement for me, and from that day it's just went from strength to strength, thank God.
Indeed, it certainly has. Now, the whole thing, you've managed to get an incredible amount of recognition. I mean, you've had a testimonial video with Uri Geller, for example.
That's right. That was amazing. I'll tell you, myself and Uri have been friends now for around 3 years, and we've spoken on many occasions through email, and we've discussed things. And he came across some of my work, and some of my unreleased work I also sent him. And after watching, he says he would like to send on a testimonial. And of course, I was very grateful to receive it. It was very kind. And, it was incredible to hear of his approval. And it's something really special to me.
Indeed, it's something. It is something else, for to manage to get that. But not alone that, you've managed to get a major following and a major amount of respect, in your even in just your own locality in Donegal, and I know further afield as well.
That's right, and I have to thank you, Jerry, as well, because from the very beginning, you've been a great support to me, and you've always, been very kind, and your words of encouragement, meant a lot. And, it's been great, across the world, during this last 3 years, it's really taken off. And, I suppose social media is a great tool, it's a great platform, and for me especially, it was great. Earlier this year, I recorded an original routine that I created in tribute to Michael Collins. And when I put that piece together, I had no expectations for it, really. It was just, I wanted to find my own way of paying tribute through a deck of playing cards, if it be possible. And after a couple of weeks, I developed the routine, posted it up on Facebook, and, it's been incredible. It's reached around 17, 18 countries, and it just hit this week, believe it or not, over 200,000 views. And that's been I think that's my highest rated video so far. And really, it's been great. It's been really good, the comments, and the support of people.
And that is really good. Now, as well as that, you actually, I know that you got a message from the President of Ireland.
That's correct. Yes, that was amazing. Last year, I received an email, actually, and I read it, of course, and I checked first if it was real. I didn't believe it at first, and it came from the Secretariat, and it said that he passes on his good wishes with my video. That's the Michael Collins video, and I was just blown away. I was astounded, it was really special. And to be honest, since that gives me, a lot of encouragement in myself to continue. And that's really where the title, I suppose, The Card Poet comes from, because I'm kind of using narrative, poetry through storytelling, and that's what I've done the last couple of months, especially through lockdown.
Indeed, it's that has been incredible to do all of that. I believe you were also in a call with David Copperfield.
I was indeed. I was in a call with David around 3 to 4 weeks ago, and it's surreal. You're talking to your heroes you've grown up watching, and to be, I suppose, sitting next to them, I suppose, would be a bad example, but to be on the screen beside them and being able to speak and learn from them, and, it's incredible. I never thought that would happen to me myself. Like, I've been in calls in recent weeks with Harry Lorraine, another very, very influential current magician, and a lot of people, in the industry, especially in America, and it's been great. It really has, Sherry. It's something I didn't expect, necessarily, but I'm delighted I'm getting opportunities.
Indeed, but I mean, you've cut your teeth earlier on, because I mean, you were involved in talent competition. You did the Ireland talent search competition and numerous other ones.
I did certainly. Well, the first break, Jerry, I ever had was Gary's Got Talent. That was way back, 2016, and I entered that, as I said, with no expectations, and performed for the first time on stage. I was very nervous, and I went out there and performed a set list that I put together, and the crowd seemed to love it. It went down well, and I got through the first heat, and then there was so many weeks. There was around maybe 20 or 30 in the final, and that night that I performed, I swear time stood still. It was incredible. When I heard my name being called, I just found a belief in myself that maybe I hadn't got before, and I says, there's something to this, maybe for me, for my future, and that's what I've done. I've never looked back since.
That is incredible. Now, you've performed card tricks for some pretty impressive people, like the snooker player, world-class snooker player, of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan, and also for your neighbour up the road, the one and only Daniel O'Donnell.
I have, certainly, and from the beginning, Daniel has been such, a gentleman. The help he's given me and encouragement, and we've came and we've spoken on many occasions. He's came to my home and we've talked. And, he's a very, very giving man, very kind, and, a great ambassador for our country. And, I performed for him, and I performed for Dynamo in the UK, another fellow magician, Denise Van Houten, Ronnie O'Sullivan, as you said. That was a great moment for me too. And, when you see all these people on television, you never expect to meet them, but it's great to call your heroes your friends. And, that's, I suppose, the way it has become for me anyway.
Yes, Ronnie was left totally, completely and utterly speechless with the trick you did for him.
That's right. It was something very, late last minute planning. There was a very close family friend that was there, and they spoke to one of the promoters, and they spoke back and forth about maybe the idea of me performing for Ronnie. And what's that? I just got the tap on the shoulder and said, "Come along, Ronnie's waiting for you in his dressing room." And backstage, met him for the first time, performed a piece, and there was something very special about that routine in particular, is that it lasted exactly 1 minute and 47 seconds, the equivalent to the highest break in snooker. And it's something not many people realised, but a couple of weeks later, there was the International Runway Achievers and Recognition Awards in Dublin, being held at the Hilton, and I was very fortunate to win the Viral Video of the Year award for that routine. So it's great to, I suppose, receive a wee bit of silverware from that, and it's really, really been something else.
Indeed, it is. That's absolutely that is absolutely fantastic, and well done on it. It's astounding.
Thank you.
It's astounding success. Starting off, I mean, things can only look brighter, and I believe you've got a show complete as soon as it's safe to do so. You'll be out in action on the road.
I do. I suppose during the lockdown, I spent a lot of time on reflection of my act and of my performances in general. And I've tweaked a lot of things. I suppose lockdown has been very difficult, but it's had its benefits in that way. I've been able to work on new material, create new scripts, put together a new show, and, the future looks very bright. The best days are ahead, and I look forward to getting back out to the energy of a live audience, performing for them again. And it's an artificial feeling through Zoom and these platforms. Like, it's very beneficial to keep your name being recognised, but it's not the same as a live audience, So there's the lack of that. But please God, now the days ahead, we'll get back on the road and get back doing what I love to do.
Indeed so. And I believe you've actually got invitations to places as far afield as Nigeria and Boston in the USA.
That's correct. I've got invitations now. I'll tell you, I'm going to need a lot of plane tickets, Jerry. I've got invitations for Boston, for Irish pubs. I've got invitations for a lot, basically, of the Irish communities, in America and indeed the UK too. But yeah, we've got invitations for Nigeria, for Africa. We've got as far afield as Australia, and it's going to be great. But just please, God, when this pandemic passes, we'll be able to accept those invitations, when things are safe to do so, kind of way.
Yes, indeed. Now, not alone do you do the cards, but you're also a mentalist.
That's right, yes. So basically, a mentalist, is someone that can connect into the mind, is someone that can, I wouldn't say read anyone's mind, as everyone knows that is not possible, but it's someone that can read thoughts, through various techniques, It takes time to develop, it takes time to, I suppose, be able to do it properly, I have always loved watching magic. I've been astounded by magic, but I felt mentalism took it to another level. I was able to really connect on a deeper level with people and leave them with a feeling of knowing something about them that there is no way possibly you could know. Like, I would be able ahead of time during my shows to tell someone their first love. They would come to me and ask me questions. Am I going to meet someone? Am I going to do this? And as I say, nobody knows what the future holds, but I suppose we're kind of creating our own future as we do. It's just taking each day as it comes. And through the mentalism I do, I try to kind of encourage and inspire people and their mindset and to, look for the best in themselves, and that's when things happen. So really, my job is to inspire people and take their mind off, daily problems for an hour or whatever the show is. And if I've done that, it's my job done.
Excellent. So, of course, one of the greatest mentalists I think around is Darren Brown.
He was absolutely incredible. He is incredible, I should say. I've watched Darren since I've been very young. And as for the showmanship that he uses for a show, I don't think there's a mentalist in the world at the moment can give the feeling he can to a live audience. I've always wanted to meet him. I've never spoken with him, but I've always wanted to meet him, and see him in person and watch his show. Because, as I say, you can get such an effect from a television show, but you've got to be in person, in that theatre, to experience it yourself. But now, as I say, once lockdown ends, myself and Uri Geller have spoken, and please God, we'll get to meet. And, we've got plans, and we've got things going to happen, and it'll be great. So just taking every day as it comes.
Indeed so, yes. I've seen Darren Brown myself on a number of occasions in live shows, and they are absolutely astounding. They really are. But you've certainly made your mark, and you're making your mark, and I've no doubt that you're going to, as soon as we can escape from lockdown and all the rest of it, where things are looking good at the moment. And listen, it's fingers crossed. I really hope to be able to meet up and catch you for a show somewhere along the way.
That would be great, Jerry. And as I was just going to say too, I suppose the biggest achievement I've received in the lockdown too has been, getting involved in the Society of American Magicians and the IMS, which is the International Magician Society that I've been accepted in the last couple of months. And, it's really helped me. I received an invitation from Mr. Anthony Darkstone across in America, and I delightfully accepted his invitation and been a part of it. And I suppose the opportunities he's given is incredible, and I'm just looking forward to the future, going to the UK, going to America, and going to these places, and, meeting new people and bringing my show to a larger audience, different places across the world.
Indeed, that's excellent stuff. And listen, good luck in doing it, Dylan. It's been lovely to speak to you.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you, Jerry. Thank you for your continued support, and a big hello to all your listeners listening in.